Great, welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight for the request for qualifications session for the Urban Trails Public Art Opportunity. We're really pleased to welcome you. My name is Pauline Kanako-Kamiyama. I'm the Director of the Arts and Culture Department, and I would like to introduce our team to you, which is Rod and then Eric.
Good evening, I'm Rod Lambert. I'm the Assistant Director for the Arts and Culture Department for the City of Santa Fe.
Good evening and welcome. My name is Eric Ani. I work for the Santa Fe Metropolitan Planning Organization, and we provide transportation planning services to the county, the city, and the state, all things transportation. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great, that's our basic team. We will also be working with parks as well, but this is our team right now. What I'm going to go ahead and do is share our screen. This is being recorded and will be posted on our website for you all to look at. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. So just a little bit about who we are. If I can get this to work. And why did it freeze? Oh, there we go. So yes, we are the Arts and Culture Department. And so we are things arts and culture. We do our best to promote it. And during this time of COVID, I just want to highlight my background screen was actually produced from the CARES grant, CARES Act money that we received for artists to help out. And these was a felt it project that was done. You might have seen some articles about it, but we have artistic talent throughout the city, and artists created really great messaging for COVID safe practices because we know that art is not only healing, but inspirational. And it was a really great opportunity for us to be able to support artists during this time. And why isn't this advancing? Oh, here we go. So the other important thing that I'd like to bring your attention to is the Culture Connects roadmap. This was an initiative that took place in 2016, had community and public engagement across the city. It culminated in a roadmap guide, and there's links to it not only in the request for qualifications, but also on our website. And it really centers equity, inclusion, and access into what we're doing, and it's iterative process. So there are several recommendations and what they call is a roadmap. So on a roadmap, there's a destination, but there are many paths to get there. And so that is what allows us, and that what is guiding Rod and I and our team Armenia as we look at arts and culture for the city of Santa Fe. So our art and public places, this is a 2% of capital improvement projects. And a capital improvement project are building facilities that are city facilities. We are looking to promote, encourage public awareness, and also to, I'll just let you read the bullet points, but also to know that public art is sometimes someone's first entry into the arts. Some people don't feel comfortable going into a gallery or into a museum. And so having public art in ordinary places creates extraordinary experiences. But we also know that we can't just create public art and leave it there. There has to be some level of stewardship. So we're really interested in looking at that for long-term care and maintenance, and also continued engagements as the communities and neighborhoods evolve and grow. I'm going to introduce Eric, and he and I will tag team the public art opportunity. But Eric, would you mind talking a little bit about the urban trails for us?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I've been involved with the Santa Fe, City of the Santa Fe and the MPO for about 8 years now, and am impressed with the county and the city's commitment to continue to advance our river trail, urban trail, rail trail, Sakia Trail, not only those essential spines for recreation and commuting, but then the linkages between them. And so what's being proposed here is a celebration of that commitment of investment in community that I'm hoping will continue for the foreseeable future. So the MPO does a lot of data analysis. And from that, if you go back to that last slide, it's really impressive, and it's not just here, but nationwide, that trails and open space and parks are being more utilized by the public, more transparent because of COVID. And so we're hoping to capitalize on these data points and continue to encourage investment for the city and the county and the state. So actually, my staff and myself, we went out in the field and physically looked at each of these sites. And I appreciate the map that was derived for these locations. Because what we want to do is two things, is ultimately at the end is have a really profound and sort of experience for the user. But secondly, then to be able to market it and use mapping. And that's where the MPO and our technical staff can help, get the word out and then support this venture.
And Rod and I joined them one time on the site visit. And so we got to cruise around town on that. And that was a really impressive system. And so I encourage you, if you haven't been on some of the portions of the trail, that you get out there, walk, run, bike, skateboard, roller skate, whatever it is. It's just a really, really nice amenity that we have, and a really good way to celebrate health and wellness to promote that. So some of the goals, and again, most of this is taken directly from the request for qualifications, and it's just summarized here. So I'll just pick out a few of the bullet points, but again, I would encourage you all to reference the request for qualifications. That is a PDF document on our website, and we can direct you to that as well. So definitely to reinforce what Eric was saying about the urban trails and about this public art opportunity, is that we really want to connect the public and the neighbors around that and the users of the trail to activate it, to promote wellness, healthiness, and to also do that through artworks. And so these artworks could be 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional, but it is to really put artwork out in public space, but to do so consciously, right? To really understand the site. So what are the site constraints? What is around there? Who are the neighbors and who are the users? So I have something that I call, engagement versus outreach. Outreach is you're the expert coming in, telling people what to do. Engagement is interacting with the people around you. So we don't want anyone to just parachute in and leave, because again, remember, I'm really interested in public art and building stewardship over time. So we have an entry point in as you do your research, and then the artwork goes in. And that's just the beginning. Public art is ongoing. It's an ongoing commitment, not only from you as the artist and the community, but as us of the city. And these are all going to help us, again, promote use of the trail system, stewardship of the trail system, and we also think about it, sustainability and awareness of the watershed, awareness of our environment, climate change, and just art for art's sake. So there's a lot of different things that go in there. This budget is $25,000, all inclusive. All inclusive means your design time. If you need permit, if you need to have an engineer, create documents, your liability insurance, which we require is $1 million. I put artist travel in there if you need it. And then of course, fabrication and delivery and installation of the artwork. With this, we definitely would, want to make sure that with the conservator, that the materials that you're using and the installation techniques that you're using will be long lasting, especially in an outdoor environment. So we'll work together with that. Our tentative schedule tonight is our workshop. So thank you all for attending. The request for qualifications RFQ is due by 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on March 4th. And you will email that as one document to the Arts Commission at santafenm.gov. We will have the artist selection and a short list of finalists selected sometime in March. The proposal interviews probably won't happen in March as I look at the schedule now. So we're probably looking at April. And again, this is a tentative schedule. Our goal is to get things installed sometime in September or late fall, because we want to get it in before the weather gets kind of bad. So our eligibility is open to any artist or artist team that's led by an experienced artist. You must reside or work within northern New Mexico. We prefer that you have experience with medium scale projects. If you don't, we encourage you to partner up with someone who has. Again, this is a public artist. You don't do this alone. You really need to think about who's on my team and who is your team. Your team is your fabricator, your engineer, your installer, all of that. A conservator, it's always good to bounce ideas off of them for that. So it's really encouraging us to think about who is on your team, because again, you don't do this alone. It's really a family that you form together. The lead artist or artist must be 18 years of age, because there will be a contract that is signed. One of the things that we're trying to do to encourage growth within our artists who are in the public art portfolio is that if you've had a couple of one or two permanent public art already, you would still be eligible, but we want you to have a budget that is higher than what you previously had. That is one way to ensure that you're growing versus going backwards. It's also an opportunity for us to expand the pool. And we're also looking at, how to form teams or to have mentorship or to learn from each other. So that's something that we'll think about in the future. The selection phase process is two-phased. Your selection committee, or the project coordination committee, called the PCC for short, is composed of representatives from the River Watershed Trails, from MPO, which is Eric, and then different arts professionals and community member. And then Rod and I will serve as the facilitators. We don't get to vote because we're going to be auditing and processing all your proposals in your applications. So in the first phase, you're only looking at qualifications. So let's say we have 100 people that apply. We're going to shortlist it down to anywhere from 5 to 9 finalists. Those finalists, this is a qualification criteria, and each category, so there's 3 categories: artwork, function and technology, process and budget. Those are all worth 5 points each, or a total of 15. So that's how everyone will be reviewed and then scored. When you become a finalist, we will then go into conceptual proposals with a proposal fee of $1,000. That will include your narrative, a budget, a timeline, an installation plan, and information about maintenance. And that, again, we're hoping to have some time in April. So again, this phase right now that we're in is for qualifications. We are not asking for proposals. Do not submit a proposal during the qualifications because you have not done any research, right? For us, our public art is really about an artist getting to know their neighborhood or that community that it lies in. So if you come in with an RFQ and already have an idea, it's good to have an idea, but there hasn't been any input. So this isn't just plop art, and plop art has a place in public art, but it does not have a place for this particular call on urban trails. Your application materials will be compiled into one document, whether it's a PDF or Microsoft Word format. And if you need help with any of that, if you don't have the right software, do not hesitate to contact me or Rod, and we will help compile that for you. Your application will include a resume of no more than 2 pages with contact information, a bio or a team bio if you're applying as a team. And we want to know about your related arts and community experience. We are also asking for a 1-page letter of interest addressing the following questions. Tell us about your artistic practice, what inspires you, what's your methodology for developing artwork, and why does this project interest you? And we're asking Also, that if you would like to identify yourself as Black, Indigenous, person of color, then that's the place in which to do that. Again, keep in mind, we're looking at Culture Connects as the overarching focus. It's not exclusionary, but meant to be inclusive. The third part of your application is a one-page that has additional information, and we want to know about your past work. If you've done public art before, what have been some of the restrictions? If you've done your studio work, you can talk about that. If you are applying as an artist team, we want to know who's doing what. What is the lead artist versus a designer versus your fabricator, whatever that is. We'd like to know a little bit more about that. Then we're asking for up to 6 images of your relevant work. So again, really look at the request for qualifications. What is it asking for? Trust me that when I say I can turn any, if you've never done an exterior artwork, we can turn it into something that is permanent and made for the outside. So don't worry about that. If you're a new artist coming into this and not done anything, we can take your drawing, we can take your sculpture, we can take a photograph, whatever it is, and we can make it permanent. So that's Rod and I's job in which to shepherd that process and make that bridge. So again, when you think about your 6 images, think about how that relates to what we're asking for and what we're looking for urban trails. And it could be any one of those goals. The other thing that we're asking for are 3 professional references, their contact information, because if you become a finalist, we will definitely be making those phone calls. So again, due on March 4th, send it all to us. If you do need help, again, do not hesitate to contact us. I just request that you let us know before February 17th. So I know as artists, you work best under pressure, and February 17th is a long way out from March 4th. However, I'm really asking you to get on our calendar. Even if you don't think you need an appointment, you can always cancel it, but just schedule it before February 17th so that we can get it on our calendars and we can assist you. We're here to help. We want you to be successful, whether it's successful with us or taking the information you learned from us to apply at different agencies. That's part of the training, and that's part of what we're here to help you. And that's it. I'm going to leave that up for a little bit. Okay, now comes the fun part. I should probably stop sharing my screen so we can all see each other. Okay. Do you have any questions? Oh, there's something in the chat. Hold on. Okay. Hopefully, Donald, your iPhone hopefully got audio back. If you have any questions, either raise your hand or do the little hand on the emoji. No questions? This is awesome. Oh, Julie. Hi, Julie. You're on mute.
Hi.
Hi there.
I was just wondering if you connect other artists together on this project at all, or do you already have to have your team? Since I have worked with a bunch of other artists on murals, and I've worked with community members and students and things like that. I like community projects, and I was wondering if you were thinking of any of these spaces to be worked on with community.
That is great. That's a great question, Julie, and that's really up to the artists and how they work and what you propose.
Oh, okay.
Right. So for your qualifications, you would state, this is how I work.
Yeah.
And even, sounds like you're mostly a muralist. And so where would that opportunity be, or how would we transform that into something?
I actually had done murals and sculptures, but I work with mosaics mostly, but I've done a lot with children in schools too, making tiles for things. But I'm game for working with. I've worked with painters. I like collaboration. I think it's a lot of fun. So
I think for you could probably just apply as your own artist, and then think about later on, who would I bring in and who would I want to work with, and what would that look like?
Okay.
Or maybe, and if you want to put your email in the chat, maybe one of the artists on this call right now, if they're interested in partnering, they could possibly contact you after.
Okay, great. I will.
He
I
said,
have a question. These locations that's on the map that you provided, when you go there, can you see where actually this proposed location is? I mean, is there some kind of marker?
the marker is a bridge. So all of these are attached to a bridge. Do you like this?
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
So it's really looking at, we kind of want to, well, I don't want to say we're going to avoid putting Eric and I, maybe you can help me answer this. The railing may or may not be an option, but it's really the approaches on either side, whether it's one side or 4 points, whatever it is. But we're open to those kind of ideas. So as you think about putting together your application and your images, think about, okay, it's a bridge. These are the approaches to it, where the connectivities, that type of stuff.
You got it. Thank
We're
you.
pretty open.
Great.
Okay, I'm going to answer a question from Paula in the chat. Can you explain or clarify the parameters for artists who have experience with larger budgets or projects? Sure. Because this project may include sculptural elements, which we require a footing. And if we have to do any engineering to work with you, we're not limiting to say that you have to have it. But it's if you have the experience, great. But again, if you're a new artist, we're encouraging you to work with someone who has experience, and that will help you out. But again, our job is to turn anything that's ephemeral into something permanent, and we can help you do that. The first step is just get qualified and get selected as one of the finalists. And Paula, is your hand still up? Do you have another question?
I do. Thank you so much for answering that question.
Sure.
So for the tunnels, is it just the approaches? Are you all interested at all in inside the tunnels?
I think it's the tunnels. The only one that has a tunnel already has a public artwork, right, Rod and Eric?
Yeah, all these are external bridges that cross over the arroyo. And it's important to note that this bond funding came as a result of the replacement of the cross beams on those bridges. So a bond was established to do to repair and replace the damaged planks that are on the bridges. So as a 2% of bond money goes to art, that's where this budget came from. So that gives you kind of a background and also why the use is being specified for the bridges. And we're kind of viewing these as gateways. So I think you should almost view your artwork, your proposal, consider it as a gateway either to the bridge or off the bridge or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions or things you wanted to know? I'm drinking a matcha latte, which might mean I might be up a little bit late tonight.
And is it correct to assume that the slideshow is available on the City of Santa Fe's website?
Yes.
Okay,
We
great,
will
thank
make it
you.
available. I don't know if I can get it up tomorrow, but we'll get the link and definitely the PDF copy of this up.
Thanks, Pauline.
And then you all have downloaded the request for qualifications, or you at least have access to it, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. If you haven't, you will after this meeting or tomorrow morning, okay? Just really go through it. It has all the information there. It has the important dates and more importantly, the email in which to submit your application.
And for your ease, I'm going to, once Pauline gets the link set up for me, I will put it on our landing page for the Arts and Culture Department right below the call where the RFP and the contract sample are going to be. There will be a third link that'll have this. So it'll be easy for you to find.
And again, encourage you, it's February 9th. March 4th is really just around the corner. We work great under pressure, but I'm asking you just to plan a little bit more in advance. And again, if you do need any assistance or you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. And I'm very serious that if you don't have, the Adobe Professional Acrobat, backward flip, whatever it is to combine the documents, we're here to help you and I can help you do that. Not a problem. Because we
And
understand
also-
that everybody has, if you're working on a Mac, you may not have Microsoft Office. Get it.
And Pauline, can you also kind of discuss that there are the 6 locations and how it can be divided up? It could be one artist for each location, or it could be a team that does 3 locations or something like that. So it's not limited to one bridge per proposal necessarily. It's all going to be kind of weighted on your proposal itself.
When you become a finalist, because we're all positive thinking that you will become a finalist, whether that's with us for this time or you become a finalist with another agency and another opportunity, because we love our artists of Santa Fe and Santa Fe County. Any other questions? I know you're going to have questions later, so do not hesitate. All right, so we're good. Wait. Wonderful. All right, everyone, thank you so much for spending your evening with us. It's nice to see your faces and to virtually meet you, and I look forward to when we can meet again in person. So thank you very much. Everyone have a good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.